Final thing I want to touch upon in Module 2 are real-life experimental applications of these techniques. As we saw in Module 1, classification of charge stability diagrams was embedded all over different experiments, and this is very similar with the charge tuning as well. Example here is our own work from 2020, where we navigated the charge stability diagrams of a quantum dots that I showed you in this module. Fun thing here is to notice that we are really measuring not super much data, and they are pretty grainy, as in it would be easy to maybe miss some of those transitions by eye, but we got a pretty nice results. I am talking about these experiments in details in a partner course for this one in a Quantum 301, so you can navigate to that lecture if you are interested in hearing more details about that. Beyond that, there is several other interesting works. This is just a subset. In this work of Zizek et al. From 2022, they did a similar tasks, but really concentrated on miniaturizing those neural networks. This is super important if you want to move on to the situation where instead of all time running everything on a Windows computer that stands next to your setup, to the situation where everything is sort of on a FPGA, then you want all the multiplications that you have to do for your trained models to be as small as possible. Another super interesting direction that is happening in that field is that of Ziegler et al. From Justina Zvolak group from 2022, where they work on minimizing the amount of data that you have to measure. Basically, what I showed you in this module is the simplest setup you can have in this kind of charge tuning. We did not think super hard about what to measure. I basically just told you, pick a square with a low resolution that is acceptable to you and train the network in a square. But in the end, within that patch, within that square, not every data point is super useful, except in fact, only the ones that are close or on the transitions are the one that actually gives us information. So this is what they solved in Justina Zvolak group, where instead of measuring the whole squares, they measure the rays and figure out where the ray hit the transition point. This is something that dramatically lowers the amount of data needed and can have a similar accuracy profile in an actual experimental implementation. So, as it was the case in Module 1, this is something that is slowly becoming embedded in a different experimental group's workflow, and it's again something that we are getting higher and higher accuracies, and it soon be possible to reliably transfer that task to a neural network. That's it for Module 2, and see you in Module 3.